Good morning and happy Father's Day to all the fathers and father figures, and a big hug to anyone who might find this to be a tough day. Welcome to Self Care Sunday, where we explore what it means to fill our own cups. Say hi in the chat so that I know you're here. So, Father's Day had me reflecting about my dad, and I don't know about you, but my dad used to ask me all the time what I want to be when I grow up. Did you have any of these conversations? Put in the chat what you wanted to be when you were a little kid. Because I remember from a very young age talking about this. And I remember my brother saying that he wanted to be a Dickie D man. And for those of you who don't know or maybe didn't grow up in the area, that's like an ice cream bicycle truck guy. And he goes around the neighborhood spreading joy and popsicles. And I remember thinking when my brother said that, I was like, damn, that is a good idea. I want to be that too. And of course, my dad's a grown up, and so he didn't understand that choice. And so when he asked, I remember my brother, with like that 5-year-old incredulous look, as if like it was the most dumb question ever. Like, so I could eat popsicles all day, Dad? Like, duh. So I'm just wondering, did you ever have these type of conversations with your family about what you wanted to be when you grew up? Because I must have been asked like over 100 times, hundreds of times, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do when you grow up? We even had school presentations about like our career aspirations and what we wanted to be when we grew up. And we had parents come into our classrooms to present their vocations so we could get more ideas about options of what we wanted to be when we grew up. And we worked towards our goals. We worked hard because we wanted to be somebody. And it's interesting how we kind of lead with that. Like it becomes our identity. Like if I was to introduce myself to you, I might say, hi, I'm Christina. I'm a learning designer and a mom. I might even add that like I'm an entrepreneur with 2 side businesses, kind of like I'm trying to convince people that I meet that I am somebody, like see my credentials, I'm a worthy human, I contribute, I work hard, I achieve things. Okay, now imagine for a second that we are meeting for the first time and I introduce myself like this. Hi, I'm Christina, and I love to be outside and touch the trees in the forest. And I'm passionate about showing up as my authentic self so that nobody has to pretend anymore. It's so nice to meet you. What did you think of that introduction? Put in the chat what you thought of that. You may even be able to like hear the different parts of you rubbing up against each other right now. Like maybe there is a part of you that says like, wow, that's cool. She just said whatever she felt like saying. That's like freeing. Very nice. And then maybe there's like another part of you that was like, well, that was weird. Geez, I hope she doesn't sit with me at dinner because I really don't want people to associate me with this weirdo. Think about this and tell me if you were like trying to type something in the chat and you were like, okay, well, I actually don't know how I feel about this introduction. Type me if that was you. So the part of you screaming, weirdo, is your old programming that is desperately yelling, fit in, fit in, fit in, fit in. Because remember, the whole reason that your mind creates programs is to keep you safe, physically and socially. And if you remember, when did our mind create these programs? As children. And so in middle school, fitting in was the most critical thing. And it was reinforced in high school and probably much longer. So this program is strong. And I only realized how much at war my insides were when a friend of mine sent me what she thought was an inspiring quote. And I had a huge visceral reaction to it. This is what she sent me. Be strong, be brave, be happy. She says she has this on her fridge and it inspires her every day. And I wanted to text her back and say, no, I don't want to. I am tired of being strong and brave. I am tired of pretending to be happy and feeling that I have to show up that way all of the time, pretending that everything is fine and it's all good and life is easy. I'm just tired of people telling me what to be. And I think for me, that was kind of like a straw that broke the camel's back moment, which I think I'm dating myself with that little saying there. But I realized that I had taken on those identities. Like, hi, I'm Christina and I am strong. I proved this my whole life as the oldest of 4 kids with my mother's mental health in decline. And I protected my siblings. And we moved from city to city. And as she searched for something that would make her happy, I had to change schools over and over again. And I had to be brave as I showed up for so many first days. And as I guided my siblings through multiple airports to visit between my father and my mother at age 15, with 3 little kids with me. And I had to pretend to be happy because I knew that I couldn't show how sad or lonely I was if I wanted to make friends in these new schools. And I hit a point in my life where I just didn't want to be those things anymore. I didn't want to be the strong one and the brave one and the falsely happy one. And it's not that I mind being those things. Being strong and brave and happy is good. I just don't want to have to be those things anymore. Even though I got praised for being those things. Even though I created my identity around being those things. Even I created my friendships around those things. If you ask the people that have known me for the last 20 years to describe me, they would describe me as those things because I put on a damn good face. And so I asked myself, if I'm not those things, who am I then? And I really struggled to answer that question. If you strip away my carefully crafted, really set in place identities, who am I then? If I am not my vocation identity or my parent identity, who am I? If I'm not my character trait identity that I had to be in order to survive, who am I? And the big question holding me back, I think, as I was reflecting on this was, will I be accepted as something else? My whole life I had put on those identities in order to be accepted, and it had worked. If I am not those things, will I be accepted? And so what I want you to realize from this rant is that asking a child what they want to be when they grew up creates programs that links their worth to their vocation. What do you want to be? You must be somebody. It has this subconscious implication that your worth as a human is tied to your status or your success, or that they have to assume an identity to have worth. I have to show up and be like, hi, I'm a dentist. So now let's remember that programs are not created intentionally. I have asked my kids this question before because it's kind of fun to see them evolve from having, aspirations of eating popsicles all day to something that's a little bit more thought out. So there is no guilt here. There is just new awareness. Because these questions are actually important. We do need a plan for the future, and our kids need to take steps towards a life that they want to live. So what can we ask instead? What about questions like, what is important for you to have in your life? How do you want to spend your time? How are you going to make money? Because we can't get around that reality. How are you going to make money? who do you want to share your life with? By the way, I asked each of my 4 kids this question, and here's the variety of answers I got. The oldest, who do you want to share your life with? Just a cat. Okay, cool. Next one down, maybe a partner. He's 14. Okay. Next one, who do you want to share your life with? Well, I definitely want to have a family and 2 kids. Cool, cool. And the youngest one, who do you want to share your life with? I want to share my life with friends who ride dirt bikes with me. Way to go, buddy. So the last question is kind of, what kind of person do you want to be? And this one led to some interesting conversations with my kids about what it means to be a man. And this resulted in the realization that we can define what kind of person we want to be. I have all boys here, so the big focus of our particular conversation was what kind of man they wanted to be, all cisgendered boys, so far. And I just loved the way that they first showed up with, stereotypical things that they had found on YouTube. Well, rants about what men have to be and what men have to do. And then as the conversation evolved, they realized that they get to decide what they want to take on, who they want to be, how they want to show up for, and whether or not the norms that they see and are exposed to are true for them or not. Because that's what it's really all about. Shifting from a place of I am only worthy if to a place of I get to choose. And it's my dream that their introduction as they're older would be something like, hi, I am Brett and I am living my life my way and I celebrate you for living your life your way too. Wouldn't that be amazing? How would that shift the entire generation if we could all just show up and love each other that way? So this is for you to reflect on this week. Who are you behind your outward identities? I call these outlets because you are you, and what you do and what you bring to the world are just your outlets for your greatness. So this can be a really tough question to answer because we have spent our entire lives crafting acceptable identities, and it's so hard to tease them apart from what actually is our true selves. I had also formed programs that some parts of me were bad, or at least not good enough. The parts of me that wants to sit in nature and touch everything and just be there listening to the bees. I had created programs that said that doing that wasn't productive. Doing that was frivolous, and it made me look like I was incapable of deep thought. Just a simple airhead with no friends talking to the trees and the bees. So it's interesting what we can, the programs and how they make us feel bad. Because if we think of the definition of bad, and we think of that example of what my brain had told me were bad, those things don't go together. It's not bad to sit there and listen to the bees. But for me, my brain told me, don't do that. You will not be accepted. That's frivolous. That's not productive. That's not how we stay safe in our society. So I just want to share some identities that I have come up with. It took me a really long time, and it's actually still hard to say out loud. So for me, without my identities, boy, I'm having an emotional reaction even now, even after years of work on this. Okay, I am a free spirit, which at one time I thought was a term for people without purpose or direction, right? My old programming. But now I think it means that I'm free to do whatever feels good in the moment, and I want to embrace that identity because I want to do what feels good in the moment, which means that I am unencumbered by what's expected. That one's freeing. The reality is I am soft and quiet. That's my true nature. I like to just be soft and quiet. But I can become loud and hard if the world needs to be. I am adaptable. I am fascinated by nature and I can get lost in its beauty. I am fierce and loyal and loving and silly. And it took me a long time to be able to say those things out loud because my programming was strong. In my particular situation, I had to show up and fit in so many different scenarios. I went to 4 different high schools, for goodness sakes. Like, it was very, very strong. If you want to cut it here, if you want to fit in, these are the things you must be, and thou shalt not be anything but these things. So I challenge you this week to see if you can answer these questions, like the questions I asked for my kids, and I'll put those in a post so you can see them and reference them. And the questions like, who am I behind the identities that I present to the world? And I think the biggest self-care we can give ourselves is to uncover bit by bit our truest and most beautiful, authentic self, because who you are under that is beautiful. And who you are under that will allow you to do that introduction of, hey, I'm showing up as me, and I honor you showing up as you, and that is how we change the world. And if it feels right to you, please share one thing that is not an outlet and not something that you had to be or thought you should be in order to be safe. Share something that you are in the chat today. Because as you saw today, sharing, saying things out loud, putting things out into the universe is a super powerful way to rocket you forward in your self-care. I love you all. Have a beautiful Sunday, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers. Mwah. Have a great day.